Hey Arnold, the movie. Hey guys, Marshall here. And yep, I reviewed the SpongeBob SquarePants movie. I reviewed all three of the Rugrats movies. So I think it's time for us to review the other Nicktoons that were popular enough to get a theatrical release. Starting with Hey Arnold, the second Nicktoon to get a theatrical movie right after Rugrats. Now let's get one thing out of the way. Now let's get something out. Let's get something out of the way. Hey Arnold is a great show. It's not only great. It's definitely my favorite Nickelodeon show of all time. Yes, I like it more than SpongeBob. Yes, I like it. But there's this whole charm. The characters are well played out. They have unique personalities that stand out from them and it's one of those shows that never dove into mean-spirited behavior. Well, if you can ignore episodes like Arnold portrays Vicky or Bag of Money. So yeah. So apparently Hey Arnold was popular enough that Nickelodeon Paramount decided we need a movie based off the football headed kid. And of course the movie was made maybe mostly because of how successful the Rugrats movie and Rugrats in Paris was. And the executives at Paramount Nickelodeon hoped that Hey Arnold would capture the same critical and commercial success as the first two films did, as the first two Rugrats movies did. And did it reach those success? Well, no, it didn't. It didn't. On release, the film ended up being a critical and commercial bomb, receiving mixed to negative reviews and only grossing out $15 million at the box office, which resulted in the Jungle movie being cancelled, which was originally going to be a sequel to this movie and explain what happened to Arnold's parents. Since I think a lot of us know that the journal left kind of ended things off in a cliffhanger. Though it did explain what happened to Arnold's parents, we want, I guess, viewers wanted a more reasonable explanation. But let's start. But honestly, we're not here to talk about the Jungle movie. We're here to talk about the 2002 theatrical release. And for what I've seen, yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Hey Arnold the movie has some flaws, but I can't deny it's actually kind of enjoyable. So I guess let's start with the plot of the movie. The plot of the film surrounds that that Arnold's neighborhood is under attack by this person named Shaq, who plans to turn the neighborhood into a mall, to a mall. So Arnold and Gerald must embark on an adventure to find the historic to prove that this neighborhood is a historic landmark based off Grandpa's Tomato War story. So let's get things out of the way. For starters, this movie was intended to be a TV film before Nickelodeon Paramount looked at it and like, let's just give it a big screen event. Let's just put it to the big screen. And we'll admit, the plot of Hey Arnold trying to save his neighborhood is there. But again, it's one of those saving their town. And for something like Hey Arnold, I guess that's intentional for a plot to be something like this in Hey Arnold, but a bit more originality could have been better. And let's get some pauses out of the way as usual before we dive into this film's cracks. For starters, Grandma's Tomatoes War story was actually kind of entertaining. And I'll mention that a little later, because another positive that this film has is that there were some characters that do have their backgrounds explained, like Grandpa, you got a guy that works at this, oh my god, there's like this guy that wanted to have his own restaurant, and he finally got it. I don't remember his name. Man, and then there's Shaq, who was apparently there during the Tomato War. And that bus driver Murray, who had some troubles with his wife. Yeah, this show definitely does explain some character arcs, and has backstories explained, and that's well, and they're well executed here, and the characters are still enjoyable, and of course you got the lead characters Arnold and Gerald still having their usual personalities. Despite that running joke every time where Gerald, despite the fact that they have those tropes that was impressed that they didn't have in the show, but they're kind of leaning towards in this movie where one tries to look at the bright side, while the other where the other doesn't believe they could do it, but unless someone else comes up with an idea, he's immediately on board. Arnold and Gerald honestly kind of fall into that category. Well, don't get me wrong, they're still likable, but again, kind of fall into their personalities and make them, I don't know, less interesting than their personalities in the show. But I think that out of all the characters, Helga honestly is more interesting, as she went from not caring about the neighborhood or not caring about what Arnold's gonna do to actually helping him find the documents. That's some character development for Helga, and there's the whole reveal of her revealing the crush of Arnold, even though we will get to that. Oh yeah, I also, am I the only one that found it funny that Eugene singing and Hey Arnold thinking about his neighborhood was done thinking of Eugene thinking about the neighborhood and Arnold stopping him. He's like, no singing. Again, I actually kind of find that funny, and it was used twice. Well, I also found it funny the first time. The second one, not as funny as the first time, but got a little bit old there, even though that was used twice. And as for the animation, it's pretty faithful to the original show. But then the animation for the most part, I'm kind of mixed on. On one hand, it's pretty faithful to the source material, and the character designs are still look great looking. It's with the colors I've issues with, as on man, because they honestly, for me, the colors feel washed out here. Noticeably that mostly because the characters have a lighted effect on them. Sometimes the lighting effect could be a little too bright, and some of the colors could be a little too washed out. And this is pretty noticeable in some areas. And then there's this film's, and also it doesn't help the fact that some of the characters look off. Don't like I said, the character designs are so great, but the colors make some of them look off. I mean, sure, there's some characters that have a lighting effect to define have a lighting effect, but others still and there's some points, but they have some shade in. But others still have the flat, but the others still have the usual animation in the original series, making some shots really weird that some characters has a line effect while others are still have their usual animation in the original show. I'm mostly because of the budget, since this movie only goes to $3 to $4 million, which I'm assuming why other films like Rugrats and SpongeBob got an upgrade, why Hey Arnold didn't. Because when you look at Rugrats and SpongeBob, their films cost around $20 to $30 million. Hey Arnold's budget was around $3 to $4 million, which is kind of off. In fact, like I said, this was intended to be a TV movie before, like I said, Nickelodeon, Paramount. This looked at the test screenings and decided, let's give it a theatrical movie release. Oh yeah. Now, another issue I have with the movie, aside from the colors looking washed out, is that this movie felt like it tries to rush scenes. Like, remember the whole Blockapalooza? I honestly feel like they could have spent a little more time setting that up. However, they decided to just cut through, get to the whole Blockapalooza thing, and have and just thrown conflict for no reason. And it just feels like a lot of the scenes feel rushed here. Rushed. Sure, and I guess the fact that they wanted to keep it under 70, keep it at a 75-minute mark, but I don't know. Maybe if the film was a little longer, I feel like they could have added a little more time with the elements. But honestly, that's just me. And oh yeah, let's talk about the whole. Oh yeah, let's talk about. Oh yeah, there's a lot of scenes that I feel really unexplained, like Arnold's grandma getting arrested. I don't know why she got arrested. I don't know if she did something. I don't know, because when I watched the movie, I don't think the film explained what she did, making her arrest the scene where she gets arrested kind of questionable. Oh yeah, and speaking of scenes that feel rushed, let's talk about the scene where Helga confesses her love to Arnold. That scene was really annoying. Not because not. I mean, it's a movie, and I guess I get that's a movie, and that was intended that Helga was about to reveal her love. However, the scene was it's just another example of them rushing scenes, and they have to rush the biggest thing, the biggest element in the whole movie, where Helga confesses her love to Arnold completely, and they completely rush through it without time and effort in there. As like during that scene where Helga confesses her love to Arnold, the time and effort was completely gone. It was just completely rushed. At least the Jungle movie, at least they had time and had time in to actually have the characters react to actually have Arnold react to it. Here, nope. It's just a few minutes. It's just a few minutes of Helga confessing her love to Arnold, and then boom, back to the mission. Yeah, I'm sorry, but I just did not like the confession scene because it was done. It was just another example of the film trying to rush scenes. Oh yeah, and Jack. Let's talk about Jack. He is the villain of Hey Arnold. Yeah, it's one of those Nicktoons that get a villain. But unlike the villain from Rugrats in Paris, who actually have understandable motivations that are well that show throughout the entire movie, Jack hardly gets any screen time here, and not the fact that he's not even that interesting in the villain. As I mean, he does have understandable motivation, but the motivation of him trying to taking down the neighborhood is that the whole change is good. Yeah, the motivation here just doesn't real. The motivation just feels like the whole he wants change and kind of stuff. The villain in the Rugrats in Paris actually have motivations where her motivation is that she tries to marry Chucky's dad, maybe because I don't know she's in love with him. She actually has understandable motivations, but Jack here has hardly any time that we get. We hardly have any time with him. And I get the fact that this is hang on the movie. You have to have a movie focus on the main character, which is good, but you need to have time with the villain to actually explain his motivation, because, like I said, the film was trying to keep it at 75-minute mark, and I feel like they could squeeze more in. Anyways, that's. I mean, the end was nice. The characters, Shaq gets arrested, and the characters. And of course, I guess Hulk and Arnold explain more about the whole Hulk's confession, but again, that doesn't help the fact that the confession scene was still rushed. So overall, Hey Arnold the movie definitely did not live up to the success of as the first two Rugrats movies, as it has washed out colors, rushed scenes, scenes and a villain that has low has barely have any time to himself to self and we hardly spend any time with him. As again, as the film tries to like keep it 75 minutes. And I honestly feel like if they made the film a little more longer, they could have added more to the story. Or, but even though I noticed a lot of problems with the movie, I really can't seem to hate it. Don't get me wrong, it's not a good movie, but it's not one I particularly found to hate. Don't get me wrong, there's still some problems, but I enjoyed the fast pace, some of the action sequence. I enjoyed some of the missions they go on. I honestly found it funny that Big Boss turned to Hulk. There's a lot of stuff I enjoyed from the movie. But again, those scenes were they're kind of enough to save the movie from being bad, but not enough to call it good in by any means. So overall, I'm gonna give this movie a 5 out of 10. It's not a bad movie, perfectly in the middle, but I feel like more could have been added. I feel like more could have been added had the film been a little longer. Anyways, guys, that's it for my review on Hey Arnold the movie. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. I'll be sure to post more movie reviews. And yeah, have a happy New Year, guys, and I'll see you guys next time. Adios.